You ever just feel like the tech world's moving almost too fast? Like you finally wrap your head around one thing and then suddenly, bang, there are 5 new developments.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge keeping up. Feels like a constant sprint sometimes.
That's kind of what we're here for, right? To try and sift through it all.
Exactly. Think of us as doing a bit of the legwork. We look through the latest stuff, try to pull out the bits that seem genuinely interesting, maybe even useful for you.
This time, we've got quite a mix. We're diving into some fresh technical news aimed right at you, the learner. We're drawing heavily from that technical news you can possibly use newsletter, plus some really fascinating developments around AI agents.
Mm-hmm. We'll touch on a few different areas: Azure, M365, AI, DevOps, security. Give you a sort of broad snapshot.
But not overwhelming, that's the key. We're aiming for the useful nuggets, the stuff that might actually click or spark an idea.
Right, the aha moments, not just a massive info dump.
Consider it your shortcut to being in the loop. Okay, so let's get into it. Maybe start with Azure. It's such a huge part of the landscape now.
Good place to start. The newsletter had a whole section on Azure updates.
Right?
And I mentioned a video, the Azure update May 2nd, 2025. Sounds like a decent general overview if you just want the headlines.
Okay, yeah. And then there was something about Azure Linux, what, why, and where. That sounds pretty fundamental.
It does, especially if you're actually working hands-on with Azure. Understanding Microsoft's Linux strategy seems, well, pretty important these days.
Definitely. But the thing that really jumped out at me, and it connects to a Google announcement too, was this Open Agent to Agent protocol.
A2A.
Ah, yes, A2A. That is interesting. It taps into this bigger idea of making AI more collaborative.
So what is it exactly? An open protocol for agents?
Pretty much. The idea, as Google laid it out too, is to create a standard way for different AI agents to talk to each other, communicate, and actually work together, even if they're built by different people or run on different systems. Okay, hold on. So instead of having, like, my Microsoft Copilot here and maybe a Google agent there, completely separate, they could actually team up on a task.
That's the vision. Increase their autonomy, let them handle more complex stuff by coordinating. Imagine one agent starting a task and then handing off part of it to another agent that's maybe specialized in something else.
Wow. That could unlock a lot.
And the support behind it is pretty telling. The newsletter mentioned over 50 tech partners: Atlassian, Box, Salesforce, SAP.
Seriously, 50?
Yeah, and big service providers too: Accenture, Deloitte, Capgemini, KPMG, PwC. It's a huge list. It suggests the industry really sees potential here. It's not just a niche thing.
No kidding. That kind of backing means it's got real momentum. So, okay, how does it work? What are the design principles?
Well, they're trying to be smart about it. Build on existing standards people already know, like HTTP, SSE, JSON RPC. That lowers the barrier to entry for developers.
Okay, that makes sense. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. And security is baked in from the start, security by default. It's also designed to handle tasks that might take a while, not just quick back and forth. And importantly, it's modality agnostic.
Modality agnostic, meaning?
It's not just limited to text. It can handle audio, video, other types of data too.
Okay. So what's the actual interaction like between these agents?
There's usually a client agent, the one that kind of defines the task, and a remote agent that acts on it. The process involves a few steps. First, discovering capabilities. An agent advertises what it can do using an agent card.
Like a business card for AIs.
Sort of, yeah. Then there's task management, a standard way to start, track, and finish tasks, including handling any outputs or artifacts. They can also collaborate directly through messages, and they can even negotiate the user experience, like how to display information, maybe using iframes or specific content types.
You mentioned an example, candidate sourcing.
Yeah, that helps make it concrete. Imagine a hiring manager asks their AI assistant, "Find me software engineers with Python skills." That assistant could use A2A to talk to, say, an agent plugged into LinkedIn, another one that scans resume databases, maybe even one that can do a quick initial coding assessment.
And they all work together behind the scenes.
Right. They collaborate, gather the info, and the results come back to the manager's assistant. Then maybe another agent takes over scheduling interviews. It's like building a temporary, specialized AI team on the fly.
That really does paint a picture. It feels
Yeah.
potentially transformative for automation.
It could be. If A2A takes off, it could really change how these AI systems interoperate. And it's open source, remember. The specs and code samples are out there.
Very cool. Definitely one to watch. The newsletter also mentions some more bread and butter Azure stuff. Azure Storage Actions GA.
Right, generally available. That likely means new tools or automation capabilities for managing Azure storage, which is always useful for efficiency.
And something about a business continuity center sounds important for resilience.
Extremely. Anything that helps businesses plan for and recover from disruptions is pretty critical, especially these days.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Microsoft 365, what caught your eye there?
Well, again, the agent theme popped up. Using agents in Copilot Microsoft Education?
Agents and education tools. Interesting. Like AI tutors or grading assistants?
Could be. It suggests Copilot's agent capabilities are expanding beyond just general business productivity. Then there was SharePoint in the era of AI, Spring 2025 updates.
SharePoint's still a workhorse for so many places. AI integration there sounds significant.
Absolutely. Probably means smarter search, document summaries, maybe automated content tagging or workflows, and related to that, Copilot agent management updates.
Some more control over these agents. That's important too.
Definitely. As these agents become more capable and integrated, being able to manage them effectively, control what they can do, that's crucial for organizations.
Makes sense. It feels like AI is just weaving itself into everything.
Yeah.
That seemed true for Power Platform and Dynamics 365 as well. Look in the newsletter.
Yeah, very much so. Build advanced approvals and agent flows. There's that agent word again. Using AI to handle complex approval chains.
And build Power Automate flows using Copilot.
Right. Empowering more people to automate tasks using natural language, guided by Copilot. Plus, enhanced declarative agents with adaptive cards, making the AI interactions richer and more interactive.
So it's really leaning into that low-code, no-code idea, but adding AI smarts.
Exactly. And boosting productivity for data folks, too, with things like Fabric Copilot improvements for writing DAX queries, helping analysts write those complex data analysis expressions.
DAX can be tricky. Any help there is probably welcome.
I'd imagine so. And it seems Forrester agrees with their direction. Microsoft named a leader in the 2025 low-code platforms wave.
Yeah.
That's a nice validation.
Okay, let's get a bit more technical. DevOps, SRE, infrastructure. There was that catchy title. How MCP puts the good vibes into cloud-native development. What's MCP?
MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. This one's also really interesting. And yeah, the Microsoft Community Hub blog went deep on it. Think of MCP as a standardized way for AI models, like the big LLMs, to connect securely to external things, tools, APIs, live data sources.
So like A2A is agent-to-agent, MCP is model to external world.
That's a good way to put it. They call it a universal USB-C connector for AI. It allows the AI to break out of its training data bubble and interact with real-time info or specific tools when it needs to.
Okay, that sounds powerful.
Right.
How does it work structurally?
It's got a few parts. The MCP host is the AI model itself, say Azure OpenAI. MCP client is like an intermediary. The MCP server is a small application that exposes a specific capability, maybe accessing a product database or a weather API, and then you have the actual data sources.
So the AI asks the question, the client routes it to the right server, the server gets the data, and it flows back.
That's the gist. The request goes out, gets processed securely by the server using the external data or tool, and the response comes back to the AI model, which can then incorporate it into its answer.
And Microsoft has integrated this with Azure OpenAI.
They have.
Yeah.
So GPT models running on Azure can use MCP to fetch live data. Imagine asking an AI about current stock prices or inventory levels, and it can actually go get that information securely via an MCP server rather than just relying on old training data.
That opens up a lot of possibilities for like real-time business intelligence powered by AI.
Exactly. Finance, healthcare, retail, anywhere up to the minute data matters.
And there are tools to help build this.
Yeah. The blog mentioned the Microsoft Semantic Workbench, kind of an IDE for building these MCP-enabled assistants, and the Microsoft AI Gateway, which uses Azure API management to provide a more ready-made interface for experimenting, managing credentials, things like that.
Sounds like they're trying to make it practical for developers. Did they show an example?
They did. A Python example of setting up a simple math server. The AI needed to calculate 4 plus 6 by 14. Instead of trying to do the math itself, it used MCP to send the problem to the external math server, got the result 140, and presented it.
Okay, so it's outsourcing specific tasks to specialized, secure external components.
Precisely. It extends the AI's capabilities safely. And the newsletter mentioned Cloudflare releasing 13 new MCP servers. That shows the ecosystem is growing.
Yeah, Cloudflare getting involved is significant. That whole DevOps section also had some good learning links, like 11 courses to master system design.
Always good to brush up on fundamentals.
Wow.
And things like CI/CD pipeline tips or best practices for developer documentation, those are always relevant for engineers.
data analytics, and AI. Beyond MCP and A2A, what else?
The newsletter pointed to info on types, tools, and licensing for Microsoft AI agents. That sounds like a really practical dive into the nitty-gritty of actually using these agents in the Microsoft world. What types are there? What tools do you use? How do you pay for them?
Essential stuff if you're actually going to deploy something.
Definitely. And I liked the mention of not everything needs an LLM evaluation framework.
Yeah, that's a good reality check, isn't it?
It really is. Sometimes the shiny new hammer isn't the right tool for the nail. Thinking critically about when to use these powerful models versus simpler methods is super important.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, security, compliance, privacy, always critical.
Yep. Updates mentioned for Microsoft Information Protection, MIP, and data loss prevention, DLP, key tools for protecting sensitive data.
Keeping those up to date is vital.
Absolutely. And again, AI makes an appearance. Microsoft Security Copilot and agents, integrating AI into the security tools themselves.
Using AI to fight threats, that could be huge.
Potentially, yeah. Better threat detection, faster response. The newsletter also touched on broader contexts like White House cyber policy and insider threats.
Important context. And specific features, too.
Right. Things like emerging methods, advanced cryptography for privacy, and a new administrator protection option for Windows 11. So both high-level policy and specific technical controls.
Good to see movement on privacy tech. What about learning resources in the Learning Inserts section?
Some solid ones. A deep dive on intra-ID RBAC step-by-step, essential for managing Azure AD permissions.
RBAC, yeah, crucial stuff.
And a massive generative AI bootcamp complete 65-hour course. Wow.
65 hours, that's a commitment.
It is, but probably very thorough. Plus the usual pointers to Microsoft Learn for Security skills and the credentials roundup for cert updates.
Okay, last section. Industry news and trends. Feels like AI is the headline everywhere.
Pretty much sums it up. AI is a board-level discussion that says a lot about its strategic importance now.
No longer just a tech team thing.
Not at all. And developments like Claude, another LLM connecting to the world, or Microsoft potentially hosting Elon Musk's Grok AI, it just shows the pace and the competition.
It's heating up fast.
Definitely. Even things like Microsoft's virtual data center tour are interesting, a peek behind the curtain at the cloud's physical side.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. And looking ahead, you have things like the Stanford report on quantum tech or the MIT team's progress in quantum systems. Still early days, but
potentially game-changing down the road. On the threat side, though, that North Korean IT worker scam expanding, that's worrying.
It is. A reminder of the persistent, sophisticated human element in cyber threats. On the partnership front, IBM launching a dedicated Microsoft practice is notable.
Big players teaming up.
And the mention of AI breaking bottlenecks in healthcare is a great example of the positive potential impact in specific industries.
So wrapping it all up, a lot going on, but maybe the big recurring theme is AI evolution, especially agents and how they connect.
I think that's fair. We're seeing these protocols emerge like A2A and MCP, designed to let AI talk to other AI, talk to the outside world, collaborate.
Right, moving beyond isolated models.
Exactly, and seeing these agents integrated into more and more tools, from M365 to security platforms, it feels like a major shift is underway.
Well, hopefully, filtering through all that gave you, the learner, a clearer picture of some key developments without causing total information overload.
Yeah, hopefully a useful shortcut. And it leaves you with something to think about, right? With AI getting so much better at connecting and collaborating, using things like A2A. I mean, what new ways of working, what new kinds of automation does that open up?
How will we interact with tech when agents can team up like that?
Exactly. What does that future look like? Definitely food for thought.